Alright, it's time to switch the order of the leaders, and we're just working inside of our level class. Let's go find an appropriate place to write this. And how about above this one? And why above that one? Well, because our tap gestures are right here. Those are going to be the ones that handle this. And by the way, don't forget that you could put in here on your own another method for a 4-finger tap, even a 5-finger tap. Heck, I think you can even do a 6 or 7 or 8-finger tap. I don't know. That's quite a leader chain, though, isn't it? All right, so we're going to write in void switch order, and we're going to pass in here in int. I'm just going to call this cycle. Refers to us cycling through the number of characters inside of the world, but essentially it is it's also used to when we call this method, and we'll just write that right here, self switch order 2. Okay, so if that's our 2nd-finger tap, we would put 2 in here. If this was our 3-finger tap, we would put 3 in here, and so on like that. And that's going to go and bring up either the 2nd in command or the 3rd in command, you know, or the 3rd, or I should say whoever is in the 3 or 2 spot in terms of the chain of characters. All right, so inside of here, this is actually not the hardest thing in the world to write. We're going to put unsigned car, so just one of our very short integers. And we're going to make this just a single letter variable. Keep it nice and sweet. That's going to equal 1 by default. And we'll see how that's used in a moment. I don't feel like writing out my whole enumeration thing again, so I'll just copy this and copy it right down to there. Okay, and of course, don't forget to close this block off. Alright, so yet again, we're going to go through every character, and we're going to say that if you did find a character, it's going to be that node, and we'll write if character does not equal the leader. Alright, so I don't care about if you're the leader, and I is less than our current cycle. Okay, so let's suppose that we triggered this with our 2-finger tap. So the first time we run through here, I is going to equal to 1, and I is less than this number that we passed in here, so 2, and that means that we get to proceed inside of this if statement. We're going to say if character dot following enabled equals yes. All right, so that means that this particular character that we found is following the leader. Then put in a little log statement, we'll say switch occurring. Alright, and then we're going to increment I up, so I is going to equal plus plus, and then we're going to say leader dot the leader equals no, you're getting demoted, and then leader dot following enabled is going to equal yes. And the reason I have to put that in there is because if you remember way back over here in our game data.plist, you didn't have to set following enabled for your lead character. He's just going to be, he's a leader, so he's just running around, right? This will just ensure that this gets set to yes if you do switch things out. All right, so. And obviously, if he was in a leader before, he'll just become a follower now. Then we're going to say leader equals nil, and then leader equals character. I might not necessarily need to put that nil there, but I figure it's pretty harmless. And leader dot the leader. All right, so now this refers to a different leader in this case. Now the new character, this guy right here, the one that we established. Sorry, not that guy. And kind of the timeline here. No, I'm sorry, that is the same instance, this guy. All right, so leader equals that character, And then, yeah, so we're going to say the leader equals yes, so that property that denotes or notes that you're the leader is now set to yes. And then we're going to say my world insert child leader at index 0. So once again, we're pushing that, pushing this this node into the 0 spot in the array of children that are going to get looked at or examined first in code like this, where we enumerate through them. All right, so that's actually all it takes. One thing I do want to double check is that I think over here, and where is my... All right, well, you know, until this method, I mean, if this method doesn't do anything else other than this, it's okay to not call that, I guess, but you know, you might want to just do it anyway. Just say something like leader make leader. In which case, then you don't have to do that right there. All right, let's just leave both in. They're doing the exact same thing, but at least this this opens the door to kind of safely coding anything else further inside of this method, right? So if you did do something else inside of here, that'll get called. All right, yeah, let's give it a shot. You know, for example, maybe you have some sort of star icon or something like that over top of the leader. So then calling that make leader function could make that little star pop up or something like that. Or we could put a particle sequence, just, you know, poof, something like that. That changes around when it's the leader. All right, so walking along. All right, got my number 2 man back here. Let's hit with 2 fingers. Boom. Now he's in charge. Right? And unfortunately I can't tap with 3 fingers, but yep, there he goes. Back to this guy. Alright, well, that takes care of that.